Hi, welcome back everybody, it's Mike Newton down here at Lytham Golf Academy. New product again, it's January 2020 and this time it is Mizuno and it's the new range of woods which is the ST200. So we're seeing three different heads. We've got an ST200, an ST200G and an ST200X. So three different heads aimed at sort of different types of player through spin and also shape and ball flight control. So we're going to take a look, hit all three in this particular video, give you some feedback of the looks and the feel from my personal thoughts, also back it up with some numbers from GC Quad in terms of its performance, and maybe see if this possibly is a driver that will be on your radar to go and try for 2020. Okay, so as I say, three different heads here. So I'm going to start off with the T200. We'll talk a little bit about that. We'll move into the G version, which has got the movable weights, a little bit more dialed in, fine tuning, a bit more low spin is what Mizuno is saying. And then eventually the X head, which is a little bit more of that forgiveness, slightly higher ball flight, a bit more draw biased in the actual head itself. So what have we got happening in the technology? And I think it's very similar to what we maybe saw in the 190 versions, which was really popular. I think that's one of, well, I think it was Mizuno's best driver they've made to date. So it'll be interesting to see how this has evolved from there. But they're keeping some very similar things that they got in the 190. Obviously it was popular, so why change it too much? Is not a lot of point, is there? So we've got that carbon crown on here as we'd expect, beautiful black gloss finish on the top. Then moving into the bottom now, the wave technology we've seen in a few previous models has actually been compacted now, so you don't see that wave going right across the back of the sole. It's more compact in that front section, so what that's doing is saving a little bit of weight and then allowing to redistribute that weight in low and sort of deep in the club face. Again, more weight saved in that carbon crown. Again, that's positioned lower and deeper in that in the club head again to try and get that spin down and get that ball speed up. We've got a fixed weight screw at the back section in this 200, so that's pulling that weight back. So this is aimed at being sort of forgiving, but also in that low spin category. So as I present that down by the golf ball, it is absolutely stunning. I think it's, you know, the 190s were fantastic looking golf clubs. These aren't any different. Beautiful black gloss finish. We see a little bit of that carbon there, just that little trim of white around that back edge looks stunning. You've got the Mizuno Rumbird logo as your alignment aid there. It just sits beautifully square. Now this is a 9.5 head and I've got it set at 9.5. Loads of adjustability in that neck sleeve, so you can go up or down by up to 2 degrees there, so good range of 4-degree difference of loft options. There's some upright settings as well, so maybe for the left to right faders, slicers out there, you've got some upright options which would be good to try and eradicate that shape a little bit. But stunning, absolutely stunning behind that golf ball. Okay, that's not a bad opening shot there. Pretty decent strike, quite loud, I'm going to say. That was quite an explosive sort of sound off that club face there. I wasn't quite expecting that high-pitched sort of sound there, especially with that carbon. So the big talking point about the drive, which is different to the ST190, is this new Beta 2041 titanium face. So it's a stronger face by up to 17% stronger than a traditional sort of 6.4 titanium that we tend to see a lot of titanium heads sort of being away. But it's also lasting, the performance of the club face lasts for longer is what Mizuno is saying. So much more stronger, longer lasting to get that maximum ball speed for a longer period of time through the lifespan of its driver. So stronger material, hopefully giving that extra ball speed, which we'll have a little look at. Absolutely stunning behind that golf ball, beautiful. So sort of drive, it invites you to hit a really good shot with it, just the way it looks. Yeah, it's quite loud on that sound, on that strike. Flight's really nice. So I need to sort of bring this up because I absolutely love it, but I think it's going to be an absolute nightmare, is the head cover. It's a stunning white, all white head cover, leather head cover, the black logo on, the black number 1 on. It looks absolutely beautiful. Now, if you're in the US, sunny climates should I say, bag on the back of your buggy, that'll be okay. In the UK, in the winter, if you chuck it out there, it will not be that colour. That's probably the only downside with the head cover is going to be how long will that stay white. I mean, I absolutely love it, but I don't think it's going to stay that colour for a long time. That's bulleted. Just fracture up that left side, but that's bulleted. trying to know that 300, getting up to that 309 mark. So we've seen some good distances here. Be interested to look at some ball speed, some spin numbers of this. So Mizuno saying this is quite a low spin option. The G, which we're going to jump into in a minute, is more mid to ultra low on that spin, which would be really interesting for me as well. And then obviously the X version is a little bit more high spin, high launch, more draw biased. Just a shame that that sounds it's quite high pitched, I think. Don't know how that comes across on camera. I'd probably just like to have that a little bit more muted for me personally, but the looks I think outweigh that sound. Really good strike. It does feel pretty fast off the face, very neutral on the shot again there. Carrying into that 280s again, running up to that around that sort of 308 mark. So pretty consistent on the distance number there. Just have that one that goes slightly up the left, others were very sort of neutral. Okay, let's jump into the ST200G. Okay, so ST200G, we've got the same shaft, which is the Dymana 60. I've used that in that head. I've flipped it into the G head, and I will use that in the X head as well, so keep the shaft exactly the same. So what's happening a little bit different in the G, or what's it offering different to the ST? Exactly the same in terms of that carbon head, low CG, obviously the beta face there, faster ball speeds. It's still got that very tour inspired shape, and as I put that down, it doesn't look any different from a playing position. Absolutely stunning again compared to the ST200. Obviously we've got some twin tracks here running from the front to the back, and a little bit different here. So we've got two 7-gram twin weights here, which can be obviously moved forwards and backwards in the club head. But a little bit different here from maybe the previous of the 190 is these weights actually enter the track in the center. So what we saw in the 190, they entered at the rear, and obviously then you had to move them a little bit forward to get them in the track to then secure them. So with them entering in the center section there, you can move them in the furthest back position to give you ultimate in terms of forgiveness and MOI, as well as moving all the way to the front for the ultra low spin. So as Mizuno was saying, I'm really excited to hit this because this could be a good fit for me, because I'm always trying to get my spin number down a little bit. Is to get that weights in the front section, which I'm starting off with 9 degrees, starting off with there, and that's what they're saying is a mid to ultra low with the weights for ultra low spin number. So very interested to sort of see. Right, let's get this one here. Again, doesn't look any different from that address position. Beautiful shape, beautiful colour, just oozes quality, I think, when you look at this driver. Oh, and that's bulleted. Very neutral in its flight. Looked to be going a bit more penetrating, a bit more forward there. 305. Thought it might have been a bit longer there. That spun at 2000, carried just under that 280 mark on the fly, 163 ball speed, and club head speed was 115. Fraction up that left side again. It's flown very neutral. I've just pulled that. Just over that 300, so don't want to be getting quite as far out at the moment compared to the standard ST200. In its defence there, I probably didn't quite flush those as good as the first one, the ST200. That's a good strike. A little bit more slight toe, neutral in its flight there, a little bit of a better carry distance there. Getting up to that 307 mark, that was good. 114 ball speed, 2,200 watt, 283 on the fly, carry distance. So bear in mind, I've got this on with these weights as far forward as possible. Obviously we've got options to pull those back, and that might be a separate video where I start dialing in a little bit and seeing what spin differences we get from that front section to the back section. Again, we've got adjustability in that neck sleeve, so we can change lie angle in there, which I think is a great option for a lot of guys, as well as obviously that loft up or down. So this is a 9 degrees, so for example, this can go down to 7 degree. It will open that club face a little bit, so remember that as you lose the loft, it will open the face, but you can also go up to 11 degrees. Again, that will close the club face. Again, just not quite flushed on my behalf, but it's pretty neutral in its flight. Just work up that right hand side a little bit. That's not bad for a little cutty one. 310. Probably just catch the right edge of the fairway maybe, if I'm lucky. Okay, so that's good. Again, the sound's a little bit on that louder sound. The looks are sensational. Flight looks to be a little bit low. It'll be interesting to look at some numbers at the end in comparison to that first one. But before we do that, we'll just jump into the ST200X, the more draw bias head. So just having a quick look at the specs available in these three models. So just going back to the first one, the ST200, that is available in a 9.5 loft and a 10.5 loft head. And obviously you can loft up and down through that neck sleeve. Available both of those lofts of right hand. Left hand is available in the 10.5 head only, so you can't get the 9 degree in the left hand for you lefties out there. Moving into the G that we've just hit there, movable weights, it's available in one head only, which is a 9 degree. So it tends to be for that faster swing speed there, so that can obviously go down to a 9 degree up to 11 degree, but available right hand only. Okay, and then moving into this one, the ST200X, is one loft head only, which is a 10.5. Again, you can move that down to 8.5 or up to 12.5, and again it's right hand only according to this from what Mizuno have sent me. So for you lefties, it's maybe going to be a little bit disappointing unless you're into that 200. Having said that, I would say the 200 is going to be the bigger seller. You know, it's that low spin, but you've got an ability to move loft up if you need to increase spin and launch a little bit. But yeah, again, unfortunately, you lefties, you've not got so many options there. So I've got the X in my hands here now. Again, I've put the same shaft in this particular head. Now, as I say, this is 10.5, so I've lofted this down by 1 degree to 9.5. As I put that down by the golf ball, it still looks to be towed in. So even though I've dropped the loft, which is going to open the face a little bit, this is quite closed in a dress position, which I don't personally like for me, but I think a lot of golfers it will help. And that's the whole idea of this. It's more of a draw biased head. So we look at the bottom of the club head, and we can see that weight at the back section there that we see in the standard 200, but then we see that extra weight or little screw that's in the heel section. I think there's some internal weighting in that heel as well. Again, same technology with the face, the wave technology, the crown and everything like that. We've just got more of a draw biased products here. Shaping of it looks lovely. It might be a little bit longer from that front to the back, possibly, I think, when I look at that, but beautiful shape again, very, very similar to what we've seen in the other two. Okay. Let's get this first one hit. So, as I say, sits a little bit close. Be interested to see what flights this gives me. Might hit a few more up that left side, possibly. A little bit high in the face. That's gone really high. Very neutral, actually, for that first shot. Yeah, not quite getting out there as far as it does. I hit that 300 mark there. It was a little bit high in the face, to be fair, but we just lost a bit of ball speed with that. I think I feel myself just reacting a little bit to this slightly closed club face. I feel like I'm just going to want to hold this off a little bit more just to stop this going up this left-hand side. Yeah, I'm protecting that face a bit there. That's a way out to the right. So obviously, this doesn't suit me as a look. And obviously the style of the club, what it's trying to do, doesn't work into my sort of speed, really. I think it's amazing how us as golfers, we react to some certain things we see, don't we? Whether it's like for this instance, a closed club face, I'm sort of trying to hold it to protect it, knowing my bad shot goes left. This doesn't fill me with a lot of confidence. But again, it's not, this driver isn't aimed at me. A little bit of a toe on, but that's flown great. That has worked up that left hand side. Should go a little bit further. That probably just drop a bit of spin off 304. So again, good distance when you get that strike in that right location there, but definitely a bit more of that draw. That was probably a better swing from me then. That gave me that draw up that left hand side. Okay, we'll hit one more shot. Just going to let this go a little bit here now. Try not to protect or guide that club face. Touch necky, but that's flown really nice again. Fractionally left. Again, it's slightly in that high pitch noise. Just looking to be a slightly higher launch there, I think. Again, we'll look at some numbers and we'll do that exactly at this point here. So we're going to look at the numbers of those three drivers from Mizuno and see how they stack up against each other. Right, okay, so let's look at some numbers. So going back to the top, ST200, we've got the G in the blue and then the X in the yellow at the bottom. So I'll just get that X average in view here. So let's look at the 200 first. We've got 164 ball speed, launching at 10, spinning at 2,200, and that gave me a 281. Carry distance run out 308. So some decent numbers there, not a bad ball speed at all. Let's just look at club head speed to see where I was at with that. So 114.5, so typically I'm around that 115 sort of mark with driver. Smash at 143 there, so not too bad. Again, quad smashes against maybe TrackMan is a little bit lower, just the way they measure it basically. Just measure it slightly different points. Moving into the G, so movable weights there, we can see ball speed just dropped a little bit there. To be honest, I didn't strike that quite as good. Obviously, when I did get it, the 164 is up into that sort of area again. Launch 10.5 and spin, as we'd expect, with those weights a little bit forward, a little bit more low spin, so 1966 as an average. Carry distance, pretty much the same, and tip 280 on the fly. Peak height a smidge low, just at that one. Second one was a little bit lower there, running out 306, so not a lot in it there, just provide me a slightly different spin number. Moving into the X there, so drop off on ball speed there, maybe didn't quite get some strikes as good as the others again. Launched a little bit higher, as you'd expect with that type of club, so 12.5, a little bit more launch and a little bit more spin there, 2423. I did have a bit of a low spinner one there, and one creeping up to that 2.9, so it's probably right about average there at 2.423. So it's still fairly low in that spin. Again, you've got options to move that loft around to create more launch, more spin if you need it, maybe for that slower sort of swing speed. So obviously drop off on distance there in terms of the carrot, 275, 297, but I know, and obviously peaking out a lot higher there, but I know that driver isn't suited to me. Right, okay guys, so there we go. There's the ST200 range. 3 drivers, really suiting maybe 3 different types of playing, and sort of doing pretty much what Mizuno are saying with the G, be more low spin. We saw that on those numbers there, bit more adjustability through that. The standard ST200 gave some low spin numbers there for me, which was great, and obviously the X a little bit more on that draw bias, maybe for the guys who sort of need it. Loads of different shaft options, again, through custom fit. My message to you as always is go and get fit when you're trying these. 3 different heads, different lofts, different neck adjustability, different shafts. There's so many combinations, so it's getting one that's suited to you as an individual. So post comments down below, let me know your thoughts on the ST range from Mizuno. I think it's, again, the quality of the look, it just oozes quality to me. It just looks high end. Price point, the highest price point with the driver is $399, so ranging from £349 to £399. Not sure what that in US dollars, but you can work that out maybe. So it's not ridiculous. It's a good price point, plenty of tech in there, and I think they've done a really good job moving on from that 190 into these 200s. So, but obviously you comment below, let me hear your thoughts as always. If you haven't subscribed, enjoy the content you're putting out there. Going to be loads more comparisons videos now as all these new products arrive into the market. As I get them, we can do a lot of comparison videos coming up soon, as soon as I've done my reviews. So stay tuned, hit that bell so you won't miss any of those videos, and hopefully we'll catch up with you all very soon.